For me, creating architecture is like telling a story. Imagine if streets were storylines and the path you choose creates the story. If the street is straight and long, there's hardly any story to tell. That's also why I found the straight streets of New York uninspiring. Because if you're standing at one end, you can already see the end of the street, and in my view, the end of the story. However, if the street makes a turn, you're eager to find out what's around the corner and your curiosity is awakened. One of my first projects at the Academy was located on a small Swedish island. We were given the assignment to map the whole island and to choose a site where we were to design a cottage. I fell in love with a site hidden away on a hillside. The magical thing about this site was that you wouldn't know it was there unless you were told. Imagine a small bike trail with fields on one side and bushes on the other. Now imagine when walking along this trail suddenly a narrow deck appears. The deck goes into the bushes a couple of meters and then turns left. Curious to see more, you step onto the deck and after a couple of seconds you're at the top, looking down on a green forest with the sea as a background. Little would you know that the bushes weren't actually bushes, but treetops of chestnut trees clinging onto a steep slope along the coast. There are not always great nature experiences to lean on when designing architecture, but I find that storytelling as a method to find the right design is always an option. As an example, I use storytelling in a much more literal way in one of my later projects. The site I was given was located at a remote location in the Copenhagen harbor area. It was a kind of dead end, and to get to it you had only two options that contained a strange mixture of old military buildings, farmhouses, small gates, big gates, old industrial buildings, football fields as far as the eye can see, a big stretch of fences only revealing small rooftops, the free town of Christiania, lakes, a church, a silo, more industry, and then finally, at the end, the site. I thought that no matter what path you chose, you wouldn't be able to escape the many impressions the journey would give you. So I decided to map the routes as a treasure map with an X marking the building site in the end. I imagined that the final design would serve as a microenvironment, reflecting the macro environment described in the treasure map. Gates became narrow alleys that opened up to big spaces like the one on the football fields. Walls around courtyards imitating the endless fences, only suggesting the life behind them, and so on. In this way, I see stories everywhere. My challenge is how I choose to translate the impressions from the small stories of exploration into new interpreted spaces.